The next stitch is going to be Moorish stitch, and I'm going to work it so that it meets this line here, so it's a bit of a rectangular shape. And it starts in a similar way to the Milanese stitch. I've got a crewel wool, a dark one, and a couple of strands of green silk and a couple of the pale yellow. And we're going to just take a little stitch, tent stitch over one thread diagonally, and then another one. So you go vertically and then across. So make sure you start in the right place, leaving this row here of holes and across here. So there's another one then. So you're doing a little square. And then we go across. So your widest point is across 3 threads. So that's the first little bit complete. And the last stitch forms the first stitch of the next square. So this is now the widest point. And that's the first stitch of the next square. You can see that I've started down here so that when I get to this knot I can cut it off. So you're sort of putting your knot in the direction of travelling towards it. So I'm going to carry on until I get to the opposite corner, and I'm just going to be careful about where the edge comes. So I'm going to need my ruler again. So I want to just carry on until I get to here and make sure my last stitch goes into the hole that is parallel to this block up here. Mine actually works out exactly. Don't worry if yours doesn't, it doesn't matter. And now we're going to go back the other way, but we're just going to do single stitches. So if you start wherever is appropriate to you, where you've got to. So each stitch has a little tent stitch going into where it finishes. So you should have 3 stitches going upwards, and then 3 stitches going horizontally, including, so you're counting the first one as the first one on the next block. So that's my first one, second, third, and then my first one and my second and my third. So also my first, second, my first, second, and third. So if you count them, it's easier to make sure you don't miss one. Okay, so go up as far as you can, and we have some filling in to do here, but I'm just going to show you the stitch. So going back the other way, on your third little stitch, 1, 2, 3, you're going to start another square. So it's exactly the same as we did for the first row, and that should fit in to the square shapes that you've made. So that's the first one of the next square. And so on. And you can see, while I've got a little bit of thread, I'm just going to go back and fill in these stitches here. And it's just a couple of little tent stitches to fill in. Now after this row, I may change colour just to give it a bit of variety, but let's see how we do. I'm going to do the rectangle to finish here, and as I said, in line with this one here. I've worked a little bit more up here. I've stopped there actually because I want to change the colour, and I'm working down this way. I just want to stress how important it is to count these little stitches, because it's so easy to miss one, especially I find when you're going across, it's really easy to miss. So that's my third and also my first, my second, and my third, and it's this one that's easy to miss. So that's my second. So that's my first, my second, and this is the one that gets away if you're not careful, the third one. So I'm going to actually stop here, and I'm going to change my thread. I'm going to add a little bit of brown, and I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, I've just exchanged the green silk for the brown, and I can't go any further than this. So I'm just going to start on that third one there. So 1, 2, 3, start another square. So that's the first. The second, and then the widest bit of the square. And we're away again up the other side. And so on. So I've decided to go darker down this end here. Here I just had 2 dark crewel greens and 1 strand of brown, and now I'm working up towards the pale bit, and I've got the paler green, 2 strands of green cotton and 2 of the pale yellow, and I'm just finishing off here. So that completes the Moorish stitch. Next we're going to do a stitch here, probably the raised spot stitch.